So when it comes to social media marketing, all we hear about is Instagram, or should we call it Meta, YouTube, now YouTube Shorts. If you're going corporate or B2B, then we have LinkedIn. But let's face it, brands are spending a lot of money out here and they're not really getting the kind of engagement they were hoping for, right? Especially the small and medium businesses, because these platforms, as you know, they're quite saturated. So do you think it's worth a brand's time to look into certain newer platforms that are coming out there?
Definitely. I think there are a lot of platforms out there that are shaking things up. They're niche, but that's exactly the point. They might not have a reach of Instagram, but what they're offering is good quality engagement for these small and medium businesses. We have platforms like BeReal, which are all about authenticity. And then we have another platform called Discord, which is, helping brands create communities around their products and services. They both are unique in their strengths depending on who their target audience is.
Yeah, it makes sense. So for the sake of this argument, let's start with BeReal. So now, one thing about BeReal is obviously it did do really well after the pandemic, because that's when it came out. And they, I think, hit a top number of around 75 million active users. That platform is still relevant because now they've actually gotten $500 million invested in them. So that platform might be looking at a major U-turn. The fun part about that app, what I really like, is the format. It's got like that one post a day format, which is pretty cool. You don't have filters, you don't have anything, and you just have to go in, click something, click wherever you are, or you lose access to the feed. You can't see the brands or friends, whoever you're following. You can't see the feed until you post, which is quite an interesting methodology, and I think brands can really leverage it.
Definitely. When we talk about authenticity, Gen Z is a generation that really values honesty. BeReal allows brands to, step away from the polished content and show their authentic side. For example, Chipotle posted exclusive promo codes for free, which were gone in minutes. It's a genius way to reward your loyal customers. Unlike Instagram, where you're competing for attention, BeReal lets you build a genuine connection with your audience, even if it's for a smaller and focused group.
Yeah, and that was a pretty good use of BeReal as a platform. The free meal promo code, who doesn't like it? We would all run for it, right? And Chipotle using that brown paper bag just to click a real picture and the code is written right there on it. That is a fun way of utilizing it. And I think these are the kind of things that will kind of take over the marketing efforts, especially for, very different style of brands, because it's a very unique strategy if you look at it. And though it doesn't have the reach or the kind of market that Instagram might have or YouTube might have, but BeReal has a very captive market. So if you can actually capture that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that we have to kind of look at different methods, strategies, as well as platforms when you're looking at, marketing as a whole.
I agree. I think it's more about depth over breadth. Instead of chasing millions of random views on Instagram, a platform like BeReal will help you focus on building a smaller and loyal audience. And that's a big shift from a traditional metric.
I think when it comes to actually using these platforms in a good, effective way, I think the kind of content pieces that you could go for would be behind the scenes content. It could be team celebrations, product activations, anything which is real. You don't really need to actually do a lot of, editing on it. And actually that could actually make a real connection with a smaller audience, but at least that would be authentic.
Definitely. I can see how industries like, fashion, fitness, or startups could also leverage this. Maybe Indian brands like HRX could post their workout bloopers, team training sessions, or even sneak peek into their campaign shoots. It would make their audience feel a part of their fitness journey, right?
Yeah, I do agree. And I think it is something to be looked at, and probably for 2025, for all you marketers out there, or your brands, small brands, big brands, I think it's a valid place to check it out, and could be an interesting avenue for all of us. Now switching gears, now let's talk about the bigger fish in the sea, which is actually quite already doing really well. It has over 200 million active users. It's got a lot of community engagement already happening. Big brands are already looking at it, but it's not been really utilized that much, especially in India, actually. And that's Discord. What do you think about Discord?
So I look at it as a private club for your most engaged audience. People join because they genuinely care about what you're offering as a brand. And it's not about the mass reach, it's about creating that value and the loyalty for your brand.
Right. That the unique thing about having that own private club, like you said, that makes it quite interesting, I think, because for a brand, if you have access to a captive market who really want to hear from you, want to see what you've been doing, get your latest updates, and actually have a real conversation with you, then Discord actually enables that. And which is why if you look at the market, big brands like Prada, Louis Vuitton, they're actually having live stream fashion shows on Discord. And that really enables their captive audience to actually engage with them, be a part of that experience. And I think that is something that a lot of brands can actually leverage.
Definitely. And did you know it was an invite only aspect, and that makes the users feel really special, right? So it's not just about community, but it's creating a deeper brand experience with your users.
Right. Now, when it comes to Indian brands, what do you think? What kind of a brand would be great?
Have you read about recently how Zomato's CEO offered a job to a person who was suggesting some kind of platform improvements on Twitter for the Zomato's app, and turns out he got the job. Imagine a space where you are able to, give your recommendations, your suggestions of how you would like to improvise the experience. That could be really useful for brands. Discord is also great for real-time interactions. Brands can answer questions, co-create with their audience, or even test new ideas. Now, for example, if we take Zomato, if they created a Discord server, imagine a space where food lovers could discuss trending restaurants, share recipes, or even interact with chefs. It could be an amazing way to build a loyal foodie community.
Yeah, that actually is a great idea. Zomato is a better example. But yeah, I actually, on that note, Zomato did try to build a community. They had created a blog or something of that sort years ago, and I think it failed miserably. So I think those guys would be an absolute fit for a platform like Discord, right?
Definitely. And the reason why we don't see a lot of brands jumping on BeReal or Discord just yet is because it requires a lot of effort. It demands effort. And on BeReal, you need to be authentic every single day. On Discord, you need moderators and constant engagement to keep the community thriving. It's not about the quick wins, but it's in for a long-term game.
Right. That's the key word. If you're looking for the long haul, then I think these newer platforms are something that you should look at. Whether these two which we discussed, or Threads, or Jagged, there are a lot of other things that are coming out. And I think these platforms are worth looking into, finding what could work for your brand, and depending the kind of audience is actually on that particular platform. I think it would be really good for everybody to look at these newer platforms, find their engagement, find their strategies, and move ahead with their campaigns like that.
So to summarize of everything that we spoke about, where should brands really spend their time and budget in 2025? Here's our take on it. If you're chasing the reach, stick with Instagram and YouTube as well. But if you're ready to invest in a smaller, more engaged communities, BeReal and Discord are the platforms to explore. Of course, they're not about the clicks, but they're about the connections that you're looking for with your users.
Right? 2025 is all about spending smarter, not spending higher.